to let things go this time. Putin's got too high of a popularity rate. His popularity is 85%. Imagine, what Obama's is, their administration. Putin's 85%, even with the ruble in bad shape. So, I'm sure it's going to go down some, but he's too popular a president, and Russia has seen what's happened in the past. They're not going to go quietly into the night. They're not going to go quietly into the night. They're not going to let the European Common Market and NATO and the United States, camping on their land, pumping out oil and natural gas. That's not going to happen. And whatever comes of it, I got to tell you, we're the aggressors. Don't believe that Russia's the aggressors. We're over there trying to pump oil, trying to cut out their oil. And really what we're doing is we're trying to destabilize their government. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I wish it was something else, but it's not. And we're fighting over oil and gas. And, I've always been amazed by, remember Bush was accused for going into the Middle East for the oil and natural gas. Well, I don't know if we ever got any, but we're certainly trying to pump it from Russia now. And I got to tell you, Israel's doing the same thing.
I'm not familiar with the situation with Russia. Do they have their own banking in Russia? Do you know?
Yeah.
Or is that part of the IMF?
No, they have their own banking.
Well, then that's what's going on. They're trying to get control of the banking. That's what they did in Iraq. Everywhere the United States sends troops, it's on behalf of the international bankers to get control of their banking. They did this in Libya. Libya had their own banking. And they were prospering. Iraq was prospering. They had their own bank. And so that's what they do.
So we're going to be more in conflict in 2015 than we were in 2014.
And that's from our New Year's party. And sorry about the noise about the Pastor Ron's predictions for the year end, from our New Year's Eve party. Kind of tell you exactly what he believes a lot of believe are going to happen. And we're going to take that and play that prediction again at the end of the year and see how right we are, how right he is, and how on the money some of these predictions are. So keep it here on GJRB, the Gary Wrestling Program. I'll be following the news all summer long. And I always follow the news anyway. And, of course, here on GJRB Online, we have true news that's not in the mainstream on the Gary Wrestling Program. And there, I will bring you the news of what's going on, and we'll watch all those stories and see how they click with the predictions that Pastor Ron had given you there during the New Year's party this past New Year's Eve. All right, coming up right now, our last segment. I found it. This is from, I believe, September 19th, around there. Pastor Ron, Obama had his immigration reform. Here it is. So what's Obama doing about immigration reform? That's the big question that's hitting a lot of us. And one resident is upset about the unaccompanied minors that are flooding into the borders and not being sent home.
Not right. Now billions of dollars want to be borrowed from the White House to help feed and house them. What the kids here in our country? Not just in this neighborhood, but in our country. All these kids, really? Why can't they go back? I'm sorry that the parents are in poor living conditions or surroundings or whatever's going on out there. I don't care. I care about what's going on right here in my own backyard, my neighborhood. Am I the only one in this community that's out here that's watching the news this morning? Oh my God. I feel alone right now in this. And I'm
Lancelin is also a mother who's upset that the president promised billions of dollars to take care of this situation and help these children and their families. Lansing was the first heard on nationally on Rush Limbaugh's program, and the president himself might be in the borders crossing among his own voter base, but he's going to have to someday recheck his priorities. How about that, ladies? You hear about that? I mean, she really said it out loud. She's really not happy with the way this immigration situation's going. Yeah, she used a few choice words which were bleeped out, but, you know, the point of the matter is she's right. You know, why is it that these kids are coming over our borders and Obama just doesn't seem to care? Boehner wasn't happy with them over this whole situation. He just was not pleased with the whole bit. You know, he went over to the borders, you know, whatever constituents he's got. He didn't even stop by. He didn't even care to go over there. He didn't even have a look. He didn't want to see what's going on over this border. He at least tried to do something with it. He just kind of shrugged it off. It's like, you know, this guy just does not care. You know, Obama, and I was listening to Limbaugh before we came on over at the closed circuit FM and WOC here in Davenport, the over there Davenport talk station. And he said something that really made sense. You know, Rush Limbaugh is always under the gun for criticism. And they, you know, we talked about how when we criticize President Obama, the liberal, left-wing liberal front sits back and bellyaches and says that, well, we are racist because we are criticizing Obama's performance. We're criticizing President Obama consistently. I mean, I do, but it has nothing to do with that. Exactly what Rush Limbaugh said. It seems that Obama has no regard for our Constitution. I've said this before on my shows. I've said it now and I'll say it again. Obama perjured himself when he was inaugurated twice. Figure this president had inaugurated twice. He swore that he would protect and defend the Constitution of the United States twice. Twice. And quite frankly, he's not doing what he said he was going to do. He's not defending and protecting the Constitution of the United States. He keeps on destroying it. And what has been said now was that now that Obama is letting all these immigrants over our country illegally, it is destroying the whole fabric of this country. Because see, we're letting these people come over our borders, and yeah, the kids, that's a sad situation. You know, there are places like Honduras, a lot of these countries that are not treating these kids right, and I guess some of these kids are running away from abusive situations in Honduras. In some of these other foreign countries, they're coming over here. They have family over here. Some of them have parents over here that left them in that country, and they're coming over to look for them, or they're coming over to go to be with them. And like I said, it's getting worse along our southern borders. All our border patrols, I really don't, I've never been in San Diego or any of those areas where the southern borders, but they're coming over and they're looking for a better life in America. Surprise, surprise. Whatever better life that's going to be. I don't know. They're just whatever better life they can find, but they're looking for a better life. They can find it here, maybe so. I mean, better than probably they've ever experienced in their own native native land, they're coming over here to find refuge from the abuse that apparently they're getting over that country. So, I mean, you have to understand their situation as well. And I understand that, but the thing about it is, all these illegal aliens, and Obama just doesn't, he can give amnesty to all these adults that come over our borders illegally. But when the kids come over, he's not doing anything about them. I mean, sending them back, they can do that, but they're sending them back to a bad situation. It's crazy. It really is. We'll be talking about that this afternoon. What do you think about that? I'll be posting some stuff throughout the afternoon here during my breaks. Also, how about that weather we've been having, huh? We're in what they call a sequel to the polar vortex. You remember that, don't you? That evil cold front that come out of the north slammed us with a lot of snow back in January. And it's back. And it's more or less just plunging our temperatures colder than normal. Here in the Quad Cities, in the Clinton area, our high temperature today is 63 degrees. Current temperature right here at our North End Spreaker studios right now, 63 degrees. That's chilly for July the 15th. We're smack dab middle of July. And we're only 70 degree prediction for today. But the current temperature at our North End Studios here is 63 degrees. And boy, now, it would be great if it was 63 degrees. That's from this past summer. It's from the Gary Russell program. I believe it was September. No, I'm thinking back on it. That's from our July program. That's from our July 15th show of the Gary Russell program, not September. So that's from our July 15th show. And this is the Gary Russell program, the best of the Gary Russell program, a review look at 2014. And of course, this show goes on and on and on because it's a review show. And I'll have more from 2014 in our next edition of the best of the Gary Russell program here on GJRB. Coming up, though, we'll talk about our next edition of the Gary Russell program, our regular show, where we make the memories that makes this show. So at that point, we'll tell you what's going on coming up on our feature show so that you can listen to that. It's going to be a good show. Coming up, let's see. Well, the day I'm recording this, actually tomorrow will be Tuesday, is going to be, of course, the President Obama's State of the Union address. Ooh, we're going to talk about that one, both on, we did talk a little bit yesterday, but anyway, I'll be talking about the State of the Union address. You're going to want to check that out. All that and a whole lot more on the next edition of the Gary Russell program. Until then, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, everyone. Watch. For we not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy, New World Order, terrorism, economic collapse, wars, pest, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. End Time Headlines at www.endtimeheadlines.org. After 1 year, the wait is over. Now join Pastor Ron Johnston and a panel of men and women to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy.